I've been excited for my fair share of movies over the years. I've left disappointed at some, I've left overwhelmingly pleased at others. But I haven't felt the same way about any media property the way I feel about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I have been a fan of the franchise since 2014, and I remember the community reaction to the movie announcement in 2015. It has been in development hell for so damn long, changing directors, studios, and even screenplays so much. But now that the movie is out, we finally get the answer to the question. Was it worth it? And in my humble opinion, yes, 100%. Check it out if you're a fan of the franchise. But if you're not, would I recommend it? No, not really. It's pretty clear with the marketing and press releases that Jason and Scott didn't make this movie for the general audiences. With the amount of Easter eggs, cameos, and pre-established characters the movie name drops, it's clear the writers trust their audience to know who everyone is, which is why the theater I was in had a lot of fun with this movie. But even as a fan, I have some problems with some of the writing and directorial choices this movie takes. And no, this isn't because something in the movie was not in the pre-established lore or something. Honestly, the FNAF lore is just chaotic as hell. Honestly, I'm glad that they kept the major story beats as is. There's a lot of small nitpicks that, when you stop and think about it, hurt the movie's overall flow and structure. Before that, let's go over the positives, because there are actual praises I have about the movie. The production design is amazing. The animatronics look perfect to their in-game counterparts, and they look really cool on screen. They simultaneously look unnatural and also expressive. The color-changing lights were criticized in the marketing for the movie, but they were a nice visual cue for a sequence later. Considering the main pizzeria was the only big set of the movie, they really went all out with the look and feel for it. The 80s nostalgia, the way the arcade added a lot of natural and vibrant color to some scenes, and the music choices all help immerse you into the vibes. Speaking of music, hearing Living Tombstone's song in the credits was awesome, and I'm so proud of how far Yoav has come. That's not all, the YouTuber cameos, from the background to them having entire scenes, was awesome and very well deserved. Something else that was awesome were everything with the animatronics. They had a few great moments that capitalize on the scares and the designs being very visually appealing. The scene where they just slaughtered a bunch of useless extras was really cool. Honestly, I'm surprised they made the cupcake a legit threat. The performances were pretty okay for what the movie expected of them. The kids and adults all did their parts really well. Matthew Lillard stole the show when he was on screen for like 10 minutes, and Josh Hutcherson being a decent horror actor was unexpected, but a good way. I liked the Abby and Mike stuff. They reminded me a lot of Nadi and Lilo, and the first half sold me on their bond, and I was genuinely invested seeing the lengths Mike would go to keep his sister. I initially didn't like Vanessa because why would you introduce a character from the later era into a movie about the OG era? I also didn't like how she just floated around Mike, seemingly abandoning her post to be at this rundown pizzeria. But the reveal that she's more involved than I thought was a massive subversion of my expectations. Good on you, Scott. The direction was pretty good for the most part. Emma Tommy is really good with the pacing and the style that the movie needed from her. No notes on that. And what else? Yeah, I think that's it for the positives. Okay, time to start with the critiques. And considering how most of my issues are regarding the writing, here's your spoiler warning. I left chapter markers for when the section ends, so just skip to then if you don't want to be spoiled. It's really cool when a movie you're reviewing is already out on digital, so you can just clip certain scenes to just show your point as well. I did that with Mutant Mayhem, and now it's cool that FNAF is also like same-day streaming. Anyway, I don't get everything to do with Abby. When she meets the robots, it's shown that she has some psychic bond with the kids in the suits. Because of this, the movie pauses for an objectively cute montage and sequence, which then turns sinister when the ghost kids try to kill her so they can have her for themselves? Huh? Aren't they also kids? Don't they also understand the pain of being alone and in constant pain? Why would they want to inflict it on another girl in their age range when she has been nothing but nice to them? At the end of the movie, Abby says she misses them and worries about how alone they feel. But they tried to kill her. Did that not register with her? Wouldn't that traumatic of an experience reshape her perspective on the ghost kids and the animatronics? She was under the belief that they wouldn't do anything to her. But they did! Does that not change anything? Come to think of it, Abby's pretty cool with everything that happened to her and her brother in the final scenes. Did she just forgo? Is this what is that what compartmentalizing is? They don't talk about it either in the end. She just wants to go back to see them again, and Mike does the equivalent of a shrug to the audience. Assuming she's meant to be the emotional center of the story, she's written and fleshed out so poorly that it's hard to root for or to anchor yourself to her. Like, can someone explain the shining connection she has to the kids? Anyone at all? Matt, come on, you explain, come on. And she's not the only one. Mike's character has some of the weirdest additions to try to wring an attempt of a character arc here. I see what they were doing. He's clinging to his past and the loss of his brother with the lucid dreaming and the normal pills that he doesn't see how that affects Abby. It's a very sweet arc on paper, but there's not enough substance or depth to it to add to the movie. It just ends up feeling like a cliched time waster. The dream sequences do give us some nice Easter eggs, but they go nowhere by the end. We start with him learning about lucid dreaming, but does he actually fully do that? Even he drops that at the end as he learns to take care of Abby in the present. But again, that means nothing. It's just meant to give him a very bare-bones character arc so he knows the animatronics want to murder his sister, and that drags him into the third act. Speaking of the third act, can we talk about how unnaturally fast the third act wrapped up in? The movie clocks in at under 2 hours, but the third act starts in the last 30 minutes, which is fine, but the speed and amount of stuff going on, it feels absolutely rushed. William Afton reveals himself, admits to his crimes, and then gets spring-trapped within 11 minutes.
It turns out I was wrong. Just for the shits and giggles, I tried to see how long it actually takes for the entire scene to play out from when he shows up to when he gets dragged away. You are looking at about 6 minutes and 39 seconds of footage. Less than 7 minutes.
Why? This is the main antagonist of the entire franchise, and such a cool actor-character combo, and he's introduced and subdued in 10 minutes? I guess it's a setup for a bigger role in the sequel, but I wish we got more of Matt Lillard's Afton in this movie. But the underutilization of Afton would be fine if some of the plot beats before this felt completely unnecessary and removable. Like, sorry if there was less focus on the undeveloped strife with Mike, Abby, and their useless aunt who's not even a character at the end, to focus more on frickin' William Afton! Also, the way that he turned into Springtrap was not as brutal as I would have wanted and not really given enough weight, in my opinion. It just felt like it just happened and then he got dragged away very quickly, which just further proves my problem with the writing of this movie. It has all the beats we know and expect from a movie like this, but lacks strong connective tissue to cohesively bring us from point A to point B. Now, with all my issues, you would think I hate the movie, right? No, not really. I love this movie and how it succeeded in being a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, respecting its world, characters, and community. It's just in my nature to critique elements of movies and TV shows that I personally find could have been done better. I do stand by what I said in the beginning. It was absolutely worth the wait. Although the script and direction could have had more kinks worked out, and it could have had a stronger focus on making the non-animatronic storylines impactful, meaning, and cohesive. 6 out of 10. A good first attempt at adapting this franchise. Hopefully Scott comes back to co-write the sequel.